Welcome, everyone, to the April 7th, 2025 regular Board of Aldermen meeting. Would everybody please join with me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance?
Recording in progress.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Alderman Plufka.
Here.
Alderwoman Tice.
Here.
Alderman Weggie.
Here.
Alderwoman Sims.
Here.
Alderman Lockmiller.
Here.
Alderman Gould.
Here.
Alderwoman Harder.
Here.
Alderman Erger.
Here.
All members are present.
Thank you. Next item is the approval or amendment of the agenda. Do we have any changes? Any objection to approving the same by acclamation? Seeing none, they'll be so approved. Thank you. Brings us down to public hearing. We have two items. First up is a public hearing on ordinance authorizing an ordinance amending ordinance number 3401 and 4852 for the conditional use permit and site development plan for a Home Depot located at 1603 South Hanley Road to allow for additional outdoor storage. So with that, I will gavel open the public hearing.
Good evening. The representative from Home Depot are online if you have any questions. They have requested an additional outdoor storage for 26 spaces just north of their building in the area just to the west of the McDonald's site. The Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval with the condition that they clarify the fire lane. There were some parking spaces that were identified to be removed. It wasn't very clear, so the information presented in the March 19th meeting items, which is being referenced in the agenda, did make that clarification. Have any other questions?
Any questions for Whitney or the applicant? Anybody in the public care to speak on this issue? Have anybody online?
No, sir.
Okay, so with that, I will gavel close the public hearing for that matter. And the second matter is the public hearing on ordinance authorizing a text amendment to allow for consumer services self-storage facilities as identified by the NAICS code to be located within a mixed-use building in which non-storage related retail facilities are a minimum of 30% of the rentable space on the ground floor as a conditional use for those properties that are over 1 acre in the MC Manchester Corridor Commercial District. So with that, I will gavel open the public hearing on that matter.
Good evening. Staff submitted the application for ground floors multi-use for self-storage, where the remaining upper floors would include self-storage. We initially brought this to you about a month ago, but wanted clarification on the predominant ground floor use to be non-self-storage related. So we took it back to the Planning and Zoning Commission with the 70-30 split. The Planning and Zoning Commission actually recommended a 60-40 split, and included that the office use and related to the self-storage would not be included in the 40%. We still have before you the 70-30 split because that is what the initial application was, and that's what we're hearing can only be supported by any development of this type of use.
Okay. Any questions? Anybody in the public care to speak on this matter? All right. Well then, going online, I'm going to close the public hearing on that. Thanks, Whitney. We'll take up both those my items under new business. Next up is citizen comments. Anybody in the public care to address the board? Now is the time to do so. All we ask is that you come to the podium, state your name and your address, and you'll be given up to 3 minutes. Okay, we will move on to the mayor and alderman reports. First up is the mayor. I just have a few things. The quick legislative update. What we're going to call the Better Together 2.0 bill, the House Joint Resolution. Ian Mackey's resolution seems to be going nowhere, which is good. It has not been assigned to a committee, which is the first step to really get any traction on it. So I think we're good for that. Senator Coleman's Senate Bill 57, which was the elimination of Sales tax on groceries hasn't moved either. It still sits in the committee. The committee has not taken it up for a vote. House Bill 661, which was a bill that would make municipalities pay to move broadband infrastructure. It's a real hardship for municipalities. If they have to move it underground, the bill would require us to pay for that, which, as you might imagine, it would be almost cost prohibitive. It's ridiculous that they would even do that. It failed last week, but there was an effort to bring it back up again for a rehearing this week at the House level. They thought it would be either today or tomorrow or maybe Wednesday. I don't know what's going on today, so I haven't heard from anybody, but hopefully, if it comes up for another vote, they will vote no on that. And then finally, our friend Ian Mackey attached as an amendment to House Bill 743 an elimination of sales tax on groceries as an amendment. I'm not sure what we did, but he doesn't seem to like municipalities because he wants to get rid of us through Better Together 2.0, and he wants to eliminate sales tax on groceries as well. But I'm hearing from our friends down there that that amendment's going nowhere either. So that's all real good, and we're just started the month of April, so there's really about a month, 5 weeks left in the legislative session. So it looks good this year that we'll be in good shape. And finally, a congratulatory note to former Alderman Jack Shelton and his wife Annie. They had their second child, a boy. I don't remember the name. Alderwoman Tice, do you remember the name?
John
Hunter.
John Hunter.
Yeah.
That's it.
So congratulations to former Alderman Jack Shelton and his wife Annie on the addition, and our resident Bob Shelton as well, and his wife. So that's it for the mayor's report. Alderman Plufka.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The public safety meeting is currently scheduled for the 23rd of April. I'll be out of town, and so I'm announcing tonight that meeting for that date will be postponed. I have not yet reached out to either our fire chief or our police chief to find out what things they would like to place on the agenda, nor have I spoke to my other committee members to know whether they have anything they want. So if we do have the meeting in the month of April, we will try to work it into that last week of April, beginning April 28th, when I'm back.
Thank you. Alderwoman Tice.
No report.
Alderwoman Sims.
The April Ways and Means meeting will take place tomorrow here in these chambers at 5:30. And I just wanted to take the opportunity, since I think this is going to be my co-alderman's potentially last Board of Aldermen meeting, Alderman Weggie, to thank you for your service and the opportunity to serve with you. We've had 5 terms together. I can't honestly imagine what it's going to be doing it without you. You were great to work with, and you made me look good. And you were, a staunch and devoted civil servant to Ward 2, the best ward. So good luck on your next. I know this is not goodbye, but just so long. And thank you so much for your service.
And we might have some information on that. Alderman Lockmuller.
No report.
Alderman Gould.
Yes, the Communications Committee meeting that was supposed to be, or that is scheduled for April 15th, because we don't have citizen members on the committee yet, and the committee just comprises of
Getting there.
Alderman Plufka and myself. We are going to push it one more month, and we'll resume on the May 20th meeting in hopes that the mayor will finally appoint some folks to that board. That's it.
Thank you, thank you. I'm going to be making a whole bunch of appointments after the election. I thought I would do it all at one time. Alderman Erger.
No report.
Alderwoman Harder.
No report.
And last but not least, Alderman Weggie, who I think we might be able to persuade to show up at the next meeting.
You can't.
I can?
Cannot.
Cannot. Okay.
I'm not in the continental United States. So, but I will say Public Works has been canceled for Thursday due to rampant senioritis and poor attitude on the committee chair. So,
I just, before you go any further, I just want to make sure you understand, my information is that you are going to be in town.
so I don't know.
You might want to check with your better
I
half
need to
back
check
there.
with management on that one.
Well, okay,
I just want to tell you, you can wait,
okay, all right, good. Hope I'm not going to the baseball game or something.
For the uninitiated, this is legislating on the fly, I think. All right, so is there anything else you want to say? Apparently, this is your last meeting. Okay. All right. City Administrator Report. We have one item, and that is our City Hall Town Center Development Request for Qualification.
Thank you, Mayor Dimmitt. Dan, would you like to come join me? Dan has been hard at work, doing research, collecting different requests for qualifications from throughout the country. And I'm very happy, and I hope you all are as well, with the document before you this evening. If you recall that at the January 21st meeting, a resolution was approved to proceed with an RFQ to solicit professional services to develop a town center at 2348 South Brentwood Boulevard and the adjacent city-owned lots. And so Dan is prepared to review the RFP if you would like, or if you've had a chance to review it and have questions for clarification. Otherwise, we would, the outcome we're looking for this evening is to direct staff to issue the RFQ.
Okay, I've got one question about that. If there are any changes, is that something we can do tonight?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to open it up instead of having Dan go through all this. Anybody here have any questions? Alderman Gould.
I just have a question, because, it's labeled as an RFQ, but in there, it starts with an RFP.
We can make
Within
those
the,
changes.
within the, so I just don't, I want to make sure we're
We'll
not
make the change.
confusing
No.
potential folks that, we're not asking for full-on proposals, are we? Because that's a very different thing. It's a pretty big investment for a lot of these companies to, and I'm sure we won't get as many responses unless it's, a traditional RFQ.
That edit can be
Okay.
made, that's an oversight.
So I just want to make sure we clarify the language so that it's not alluding to a
We will take
proposal
another
as
look,
being
as
expected.
many eyes as we had, take a look at this. We'll make the change.
Okay.
Alderman Plufka.
I just wanted to thank the city staff for their work in preparing the request for qualification. And, at the heart of this was that there might be some creative way to reimagine our city center as a mix of light retail and bring together services and departments that serve our residents and is in a walkable and an accessible fashion. And I think you've done that really well and in a very easy to understand and very straightforward way. So I just wanted to thank you and your staff for the work that you put in on this.
And really, the only thing I had was like the timeline. I had put in there arbitrarily that the deadline would be May 30th for the RFQ to come back. And then that would mean that it would go to Public Works Committee around June 12th, and then it could go to the Board of Aldermen at the June 16th meeting. It's not etched in stone. I didn't know how long was a reasonable amount of time to ask for the RFQ. If we advertise it, say, starting as early as this week, early next week, you'd have the rest of April and then quite a bit of May, about 6 weeks to get solicitations.
Are we holding off on doing anything with the basement in terms of trying to find a tenant until we get responses to this? I'm assuming that, coupled with the fact that the library is going to be there still for a while.
That's true. That's
Okay.
true. Besides, the board hasn't directed us to do anything further. If you remember that the school district had interest, and so that seemed to be a worthwhile opportunity to research a little bit more. So nothing else has been done since last fall.
Yeah, I just had somebody ask me about that, and I thought, well, we're still trying to figure out what we want to do with this.
Yes.
And that coupled with the fact, again, the library, I think it's there for, premature to be looking for somebody else. Okay. Any other questions? Does anybody on the board have a desire for Dan to go through this? Okay, so we need, do we need a formal vote on this, or?
I think so. No. If
think we're
we'll
good to
make
go.
the edits, we're good to go.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks, Dan.
Thanks.
Next up is the consent agenda. We have a number of items on there. Any requests to remove any of these items from the agenda or any questions about any of the agenda items? If not, Chair would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved?
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Alderman Plufka?
Yes.
Alderwoman Tice?
Yes.
Alderman Weggie?
Yes.
Alderwoman Sims?
Yes.
Alderman Lockmiller?
Yes.
Alderman Gould?
Yes.
Alderwoman Harder?
Yes.
Alderman Erger?
Yes.
Motion carries by a vote of 8-0.
Thank you. Brings us down to old business. We have none, so we're going to drop down to new business. First up is Bill number 6550. Can we get a first read by title only, please?
Bill number 6550, an ordinance of the City of Brentwood, Missouri, authorizing the mayor and/or city administrator to execute the attached 2024 Community Development Block Grant CDBG Municipal Housing and Community Development Supplemental Cooperation Agreement.
Whitney.
Good evening. Again, before you is our supplemental agreement with St. Louis County to oversee the city's portions of the Community Development Block Grant. The reimbursement for home improvements is up to $7,500 for those that are eligible. The total amount is increased from $20,000 to $40,000. All of the prior year's funds have been expended, and they report that there are 19 people on the waiting list for the next funding round.
So just procedurally, the county sends the 40,000 to us. Is
No,
that right?
they manage it.
They hold it
Yeah, they
until
hold
we-
it, they
okay.
manage it per the redevelopment or supplemental agreement that the city contracts with them to oversee
Okay.
that. Yeah.
And do we do anything at the city level, the staff level, to broadcast that this program's available?
Yes, we
Okay.
have put that out on social media in the past, and generally in the July or August, we have the public hearing notices for the actual applications available. Last year, they asked us to hold off on any public notice because they had so many people in line, they wanted to wait.
Okay, and you would like to have a second read on this tonight?
Yes.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion for a second read and a second on that motion. Any discussion? All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Mr. City Attorney, can we get a second read of Bill number 6550 by title only, please?
Bill number 6550, an ordinance of the City of Brentwood, Missouri, authorizing the mayor and/or city administrator to execute the attached 2024 Community Development Block Grant CDBG Municipal Housing and Community Development Supplemental Cooperation Agreement.
Thank you. Chair would entertain a motion to perfect Bill number 6550 in ordinance form.
Moved.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Plufka?
Yes.
Alderwoman Tice?
Yes.
Alderman Weggie?
Yes.
Alderwoman Sims?
Yes.
Alderman Lockmiller?
Yes.
Alderman Gould?
Yes.
Alderwoman Harder?
Yes.
Alderman Erger?
Yes.
By a vote of 8-0, bill will become ordinance. And I'll put that number in the minutes.
Okay.
Sorry.
No problem. Thanks, Kelly. Next up is Bill number 6551. Can we get a first read by title only, please?
Bill number 6551, an ordinance amending Article 3 of Chapter 240 of the Municipal Code by the addition of a new Section 240.125 to establish a procedure to determine reasonable accommodations in city ordinances, rules, and policies pursuant to the Federal Fair Housing Act and/or the Americans with Disabilities Act.
So there has been a request for consideration of an emotional support animal that would not ordinarily meet with the city's policies on and regulations on animals, keeping of animals. Therefore, we are looking to establish a procedure that can be reviewed, where these requests can be reviewed. We have them at the Public Safety Committee. And if anyone wishes to appeal the decision of the Public Safety, they would come before this board.
And can you give a little background on where these dogs or animals would be?
If they're being kept by a resident that would not meet with the animal control and public safety requirements.
Can you give an example?
The best example I can give you is in another city here in Missouri. A resident of that city was keeping monkeys.
Okay.
And she had them in her house and had created a large cage for them. Another example is in Florida, where a dog was a emotional support dog, but it was a breed that the Miami County had prohibited because it was inherently considered dangerous. So they had to have a procedure to determine that kind of,
Any questions about this? Alderman Lockmiller.
Whitney, if we dusted it off, we've got a Commission on Human Rights committee. Why would this not be in their purview to take up?
It was under the public safety in other cities, so that's why I included it in this section. And animal control is under the public safety section of the city's ordinances. So that's why, and it would provide the ability for the police to determine if any particular reason that they felt it was a larger public safety issue. I thought that was a better discussion at the Public Safety Committee.
And if there, what other issues besides animals do we know might come our way? Like if a landlord isn't wanting to put in a wheelchair ramp, but a tenant is requesting it? I mean, is that something that
No,
would fall into this?
This would fall, this is only for those items that would not have any zoning
Okay.
or require variance. So this is anything outside of any zoning regulation or variance review.
All right, thank you.
Okay. There's a difference between support animals and emotional support animals. I could go online now and get paperwork for an emotional support animal, and I don't even have a pet. Is there any way that we can prove that they have a mental anxiety or some reason that they, from a doctor?
Yes, so that would be a requirement. It is reviewed on a case-by-case basis, but they would need to provide sufficient evidence to support their request. Whether
Or
if
they have
it's
the
a
animal.
whether if it's a service dog or another service animal that has specific training, they need to provide that specific training. An example was provided that should the person need a specific training for assistance to enjoy the home, but they're allergic to dogs, then they would be able to submit evidence that of allergy from a doctor. The code does allow that can be kept confidential, but they do need to provide evidence to support their request.
Okay.
Anyone else? Alderman Gould.
I'm curious about what, I understand the cases of, I want exotic cases, right? So I want monkeys or an alligator, so I'm going to call it an emotional support animal, and then, But does this also open us up? We only allow 3 pets, domesticated pets, within our code. Does this also open up that just somebody who wants to have 4 or 5 and just say those 2 additional are my emotional support bunnies and whatever?
So the code actually says you can have no more than 3 dogs, but you can have up to 6 pets.
Okay.
And then it actually provides further guidance of bunnies or guinea pigs might 2, I don't have it off the top of my head, but 2 hamsters might equate to a 1 pet, something like that. So it does provide more, but that is a question that we have received where someone had 4 dogs and they said, well, 1 is an emotional support dog, so therefore I'm still in compliance because the other 3, and our determination was no, the emotional support dog it receives that protection, but you're still limited to the total number of dogs or pets.
So,
Yeah.
so our code for the maximum amount of animals within a dwelling is still, we're still going to be able to enforce that
Correct.
regardless?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, anyone else? Alderman Lockmiller.
So they come before, I guess we're establishing a procedure here. So they come before the Public Safety Committee, and if the 4 members of the Public Safety Committee don't vote in favor, then they appeal to who?
The Board of Aldermen, this board.
Then if the Board of Aldermen turns them down, what then? Is it a
think-
civil rights type?
I think so. That would,
Yes, that would be the next path would be to pursue a claim in court.
That'd be the the stick.
Yes.
Anyone else? Okay, and again, you want a second read on this tonight? Are you asking for that? I see that on here. I don't know if you
Yes.
still are?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
Okay, no
Or we
problem.
can postpone it if it's up to you.
Well, let's see. Anybody, if you'd like to have a request for a second read, we can do that. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Can we get a motion to that effect, please?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, can we get a second read of Bill number 6551 by title only, please?
Bill number 6551, an ordinance amending Article 3 of Chapter 240 of the Municipal Code by the addition of a new section 240.125 to establish a procedure to determine reasonable accommodations in city ordinances, rules, and policies pursuant to the Federal Fair Housing Act and/or the Americans with Disabilities Act.
Thank you. Chair would entertain a motion to perfect Bill number 6551 in ordinance form.
So moved.
Second?
Okay, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Plufka?
Yes.
Alderwoman Tice?
Yes.
Alderman Weggie?
Yes.
Alderwoman Sims?
I recuse.
Alderman Lockmiller?
Yes.
Alderman Gould?
Yes.
Alderwoman Harder?
Yes.
Alderman Erger? Yes. Motion motion carries by a vote of 7-0 and 1 recusal
Thank
to
you.
become an ordinance.
Okay, thank you. Brings us down to Bill number 6552. Can we get a first read by title only, please?
Bill number 6552, an ordinance amending ordinance numbers 3401 and 4852 for the conditional use permit and site development plan for Home Depot located at 1603 South Hanley Road to allow for additional outdoor storage.
Thank you. Whitney, we're back.
So this is the public hearing that we had earlier, so I'm available for any questions. Yeah.
The applicant's still available, and
They were going to join via Zoom.
They did?
well, let's see if that's an issue. Do we have any questions for the applicant on this?
There's a hand up from the applicant, or there was. Oh, they took it down.
Okay. I don't see any. So we are going to wait on a second read on this one. We're not requesting a second read tonight.
Right.
So we will take that up at the next meeting, the April 21st, 2025 Board of Aldermen meeting. Okay. Great, thank you. Bill number 6553, can we get a first read by title only, please?
Bill number 6553, an ordinance relating to the MC Manchester Corridor Commercial District.
Busy night, Whitney.
So this is also the public hearing that we had earlier. This is to allow for multi-use self-storage where the ground floor would be 70-30 split for retail office uses. The Planning and Zoning Commission recommended a 60-40 split with the office related to the self-storage be outside of that. However, we've heard from those in the field that the 60-40 would not work. So it would be, so that's why I've presented the 70-30 here. Although there could be room to have the office for the self-storage facility be located in the 70% versus the 30%. They said that was, someone had indicated that's generally minor in square footage. But if that's something you would like us to consider, we could bring that back.
Okay, so in sum, the P&Z made a recommendation for 60-40.
Right.
That's what they brought to the board. But we're gonna disregard that, and so what it's in the bill is a 70-30.
Correct.
Okay. Does that present any problem, Mr. City Attorney? Do we have to take any special action on that?
No, you're just, on final approval, you're going to need a supermajority vote.
Okay, thank you. All right, any questions? All right, thank you. Oh, I'm sorry, Alderman Tice.
Well, I just have one question about the planning and zoning. So the vote was 5-4. So the vote was 5-4 in favor of a 60-40 split of the use in the building.
Correct.
Okay, great.
Anybody else? Okay, thank you. We will take that up for a second read then at the next meeting, April 21st. That brings us down to the final item under new business, and that is Bill number 6554. Can we get a first read by title only, please?
Bill number 6554, an ordinance authorizing a dance school for Arts in Motion Children's Dance and Music School at 1265 Hanley Industrial Court within the tenant space addressed as 1300 Strasner Drive.
Thank you. Yeah, identify yourself, please.
Arts in Motion is currently located at 2924 South Brentwood Boulevard. They're looking to expand and have found a location in the Light Industrial District. Light Industrial District includes recreational uses as a permitted use, and therefore it did not require review at the Planning and Zoning Commission or a public hearing. However, under Section 604-670 of business license, it does require a review at the Public Safety Committee and the Board of Aldermen. And this was presented at the last Public Safety Committee, and they recommended approval. It's a similar review as any conditional use permit, so.
But we don't have a conditional use. There's
No,
request
it's not
for
a
CUP
conditional use
tonight.
permit.
Because
I
it's
did
a
not have an
permitted use.
application specific for this use, so I had
Right.
her fill out the conditional use
Sure.
permit application. It's a similar review, but it is not a conditional use
Okay.
permit under the zoning code.
And you and I emailed this afternoon because I had a question about why why this has to come in front of the board in the first place. And it's because of this public safety component. If you could
Right.
explain that a little bit.
So it says under 604.670 that dance halls and dance schools are to be referred to the Public Safety Committee or the Board of Aldermen for investigation, that shall investigate the hall or premise that is proposed to conduct a public dance in public halls, having particular regard to its provisions for safeguarding the patrons and public, and shall also investigate the character and fitness of persons, club, association, organization, or society, and a report of such investigation made to the city collector. The application and report shall therefore be referred to the Board of Aldermen, which shall direct the issuance of such license or deny the same.
And the applicant in front of us, it's just a dance studio, is that correct?
It's a children's dance school.
A children's dance school, okay. Because when I'm reading that ordinance, what I'm envisioning is some saloon from the 1860s in the Wild
Yes.
West.
I believe, I believe the reason that this is in there is to ensure that life safety matters for the police and fire would be addressed. It's not some underground slam club, or they have adequate.
Right, right, okay, and we can have a discussion offline, but I'm just wondering if maybe it's time for us to, I don't know, take a look at updating that ordinance.
Yes,
Okay,
it is.
and kicking out, dance studios, especially for children, that, I don't see there being much of a threat there. I mean, we don't require this for, athletic facilities that are located in the light
Not in the light
industrial.
industrial district,
Right,
right.
and so, okay. Now that we've cleared that up. Any other questions? Yes, Alderman Weggie.
Motion for a second reading.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on that motion? All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. City Attorney. Can we get a second read of Bill number 6554 by ordinance, please? By title, please.
Bill number 6554, an ordinance authorizing a dance school for Arts in Motion Children's Dance and Music School at 1265 Hanley Industrial Court within the tenant space addressed as 1300 Strasner Drive.
Thank you. Motion to perfect.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor, please.
Oh, you want to,
The voice vote?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes,
Alderman,
yes, yes, a
Plufka.
voice. Roll call, please. There we go. Those are the words. They escaped me. We've done so many of these tonight.
that's okay. Alderman Plufka.
Yes.
Alderwoman Tice.
Yes.
Alderman Weggie.
Yes.
Alderwoman Sims.
Yes.
Alderman Lockmiller.
Yes.
Alderman Gould.
Yes.
Alderwoman Harder.
Yes.
Alderman Erger.
Yes.
By a vote of 8-0, this bill will become an ordinance.
Thank you. Thank you. Welcome. That brings us down to citizen comments. Anybody in the public care to address the board? Now is the time to do so. All we ask is that you come to the podium and state your name and your address. You'll be given up to 3 minutes. Anybody online by chance?
Sure.
Okay. We have no need for a closed session since we took care of that before the meeting. Seeing we have no further business before this
I got
board.
one thing.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Alderman Weggie.
I have a present for you guys and gals. So I'll let the mayor open it.
That's what I think. Well, hashtag, if you know, you know.
1,000 Mamba fruit shoots.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This is what our wonderful clerk serves us during closed sessions, and these go fast. So thank you so much. We are going to make you show up at a later meeting, Alderman Waggy, just so you
I
know.
will be back in the continental use, I've been informed, so.
Okay. We need you to come back because we aren't going to let you just walk off into the sunset without some recognition. So, and also, while we're saying that, just a quick announcement about that. It's off the agenda, I understand, but Alderman Wegge is going to be the Brentwood Citizen of the Year, awarded by the Chamber of Commerce. And we're having an event the Chamber of Commerce is having an event for him on April 25th. So congratulations. And that is to acknowledge all of his efforts over all these years that he served the city both as a citizen, on behalf of the school district, and obviously as an elected official and someone who served on committees over all these years. The city is far, far, far better off with him being here than had he never served in the first place. So thank you, and we will see you in a couple of weeks, hopefully. Okay, now that there's been no further items on the agenda, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you so much.